Have you ever gave up hope, looking for a way to cope, all alone in a castle by yourself, knowing you were made to rule, looking like a royal fool, if you only had someone to help. We got to clean these rodents out. There ain't no way we're gonna let them run this place. I'll show them what this king's about. It won't be long before we get them on the run. Here's what I propose we do. I'm gonna count on you. Give you all.
Hello, MouseHunt. Welcome to Feedback Friday. I think, what is it? It's June. It is June. It is indeed. After a little bit of debate and confusion, it's June 21, 2024. Yeah, 2024. I did forget what year it was not too long ago, so I got to remember. It's 2024. Good morning, afternoon, evening, everybody. Hopefully everybody is doing well. In the chat, Spagar, nice to see you there. Better time for you, not as late. KDM indeed. We're a little early. It's a little earlier than usual, 2 hours earlier than usual, because we have a bit of a company get-together today. We're going to go and see each other in person. So I need a little bit of, I need to accommodate travel time. So rather than cancel, I thought, well, I'll do it bright and early. Usually I start up around 8 a.m. It's 9 a.m. right now. So that's kind of an okay, be kind of end of the day before I go and hit the road. Nathan, nice to see you. I am indeed up this early. I usually get up about 6:30 to be honest. I like usually early to bed, early to rise kind of person. Mona, happy midsummer to you as well. Good morning, nice to see you. Warden, nice to see you. Good morning to you. Shashi, nice to see you. Michelle, likely a short one today. Let's not waste too much time asking too many questions. Well, I think too, I picked Michelle's brain. We reached into the mailbag today. So we pulled out a few mailbag questions, mostly about the giveaway. And we'll kind of answer a few questions from the mailbag today. And then, yeah, probably a little bit of a short one as I'll have to hit the road. I already forget. I forget when I have to leave. That's how well organized I am. YX, what was the name of the second song? It's called The King, and it's off that one Ancient MouseHunt album, but that was The King. Whereas I think usually it's Impress You. That was the first song. The second one's called The King. Math, the answer is 42. Appropriate too with your name being Math. The King's giveaway has been great. Your first catch was the leprechaun. Well, congratulations, Murphy. That's an elusive one. Congrats on the leprechaun catch. Tarako, good morning to you. Hello, KDM again. Zapke, nice to see you. Lady Nutsy, good morning. You have to get some coffee. I had to make sure to brew mine this morning as well. That's for sure. I'm on my second cup. YX, what did I have for breakfast? What did you have for breakfast, YX? I'm gonna turn that around. All right, we're gonna do a 180. What did you have for breakfast, YX? I hope it was something good. Looking good with a nice smooth shave. I need a haircut, actually. I've been looking for a new barber. I gotta find a new barber. I've been putting that off. I've been wearing hats, I think, due to that. Daniel, meow. Well, meow right back at you. Nicholas, welcome in. Hope you're doing well. KDM could have had everyone over for Feedback Friday, though. If they were willing to do so, I would welcome them. I think they probably would be, but that sounds fun. Probably doing it remotely would be a better option, whether you then just dial everybody in virtually or just, broadcast from a phone or something like that. Anna, good morning to you as well. Michelle said, you have to leave by 10:30. There you go. Michelle remembers when I said I need to leave by. All right. That's good. That'll give you a little bit of time to wrap things up, get organized. Maybe do just a little bit more work before I hit the road as well. You had bread for breakfast. Well, that's a popular choice, YX. I hope it was good. Martin, good afternoon from Germany. Well, good morning from Canada. Welcome on in, Potato. Well, as I mentioned, I picked Michelle's brain a little bit. We reached into the mailbag to grab a few questions about the giveaway that had been circulating. So we thought we could dive into that a little bit here. And right off the bat, Franco updated the news post to add this. So if you haven't seen it yet, this is a screenshot of the news post. He added everything that is new in the King's Cart or the King's Arms, depending on where you like to do your shopping with your King's Credits. So there's 6 new items, 5 of them for King's Credits, and of course the Regal Codex as well. So these are the new items that we added with the giveaway. We usually use the giveaway as a time that we look over the King's Arms and the King's Cart and see if there's anything new we want to add for credits. And even somewhere in the back of our mind, we'd like to do a larger of an overhaul for King's Credits as well. They're okay, but I feel like they could be a little bit more fun. But that's probably an idea in the idea bank for another day. I can hang out with the hundreds of others. But then there's a few other things here. So as I mentioned, 6 new items in the King's Cart. News post has been updated as well, so you can reference it in there. There's a few other questions kicking around regarding prize mice. Actually, mostly prize mice. A little bit with the giveaway, but some of this isn't necessarily specific to the giveaway, but just when prize mice are out and about. And one was, does the printing press base work against prize mice? Specifically, the stat bonus that you get from using prolific printing paper. And yes, it does. Basically, if you see those stats down there, and it's like your trap stats, it's your trap versus the mouse, all those stats, your power and your luck, get taken into account. The only exception is the Froma Rift Droid. The droid bonus that area provides isn't taken into account. Everything else is, including the tower amplifier, for better and for worse. If your amplifier is fully charged, you're a little bit more powerful, and as it drains, you become a little bit weaker. Your trap stats begin to drop as well. Math calls for a remote mouse. Edison, you should say good night. It's 9 p.m. there. Well, good night, Edison. Hope you had a fantastic day and a wonderful evening. You're winding down, maybe getting ready to slumber and do it all over again tomorrow. Subra, how are all the current MouseHunt projects going along? And we can do a little bit of a look ahead as well. Like I said, we'll finish up a few of these questions that were kicking around from prize mice. The other one, do different locations contain different prize mice or different encounter rates of prize mice? And no, basically, long story short, or in a nutshell, when you finish a hunt, the game just kind of decides. There's a random chance that you encounter prize mouse, and the environment does not play into that random chance. So it just kind of, okay, you triggered a bonus hunt for a prize mouse, and then it kind of works independently of your location. And a few people asking about the drop rate of the Regal Codex pages. So to buy the Regal Codex, you need to collect 100 of the pages. The way you find them is you can use any tier of Regal charm, and every time you capture a mouse, there is a 10% chance that it will drop a page. That's the same across all the tiers of charms. However, using the higher tier of charms will give you more pages. So if you capture a mouse using an ultimate Regal charm, you get 4 pages, whereas if you use a normal one, you only get 1. And kind of depending on where your Regal charms are coming from and the type of mice that you're hunting, it might make sense to use the regular ones, the super, the extremes, or the ultimates. If you're hunting something that's hard to catch, hey, you may as well be using an ultimate, especially if you earn them from the vault. Whereas if you're using your King's Credits to upgrade them, then you might end up spending more King's Credits to get those 100 pages if you use ultimates. So if you're kind of trying to do it by using your King's Credits and being a little frugal, then the regulars and the supers might be the way to go. But otherwise, it's a good use to sink a few of your King's Credits to do it a little bit quicker, should you choose to do so. And the last one was will the lucky mouse make a return? So that was kind of parallel to the giveaway, but events, right? The lucky mouse did not come around during the birthday event. Often we would release it around St. Patrick's Day. It's just a fun little extra encounter. It's kind of, that was something that was added years and years ago, maybe hasn't quite withstood the test of time, could use a fresh coat of paint. So we're actually going to repurpose the lucky mouse. It'll still be an event mouse, but it'll be coming back next month, actually. So you can look forward to being able to encounter the lucky mouse next month. And those were the questions from the giveaway mailbag, mostly giveaway, with one extra little bonus there. But Super, you're asking how all the current MouseHunt projects are coming along. And let me see. We've been working on the Draconic Depths, and that's looking in great shape. Actually, we pretty well want to be finished it today, and then into next week. We're kind of tying up a few loose ends few last art assets to kind of put into place, put the finishing touches on things. But everything's looking really good. The Draconic Depths is looking great. We've been just starting to plan out a little bit of how you would obtain the map piece. As we typically do, it's open to suggestion here, but it's had great feedback for the last few areas that have come out is a way to get the map piece before the area is officially released. That seems to be a pretty fun and popular idea that we've been doing for a bit. So we've just been starting to finish up the ideation of, well, how are you going to get the map piece to the Draconic Depths before it's actually released? And then, long term, it'll probably be in the School of Sorcery for, I would imagine, if I had to guess, some amount of Sapphires. But if you get it during the pre-release phase, you can get it without having to spend that extra resources. You can get it a little bit more efficiently, I guess. Willie's saying, please increase the Leprechaun attraction rate. I'm sure it's been nudged up a little bit here and there as the years have gone by, but that's part of the identity, Willie, of the Leprechaun mouse. It is the rarest of the rare, and it's a mouse that takes years. You don't catch it, it decides to get caught. It's pretty well how that goes. I mean, it took me over a decade to finally capture one. I think I missed it 10 times before I finally caught it. So I can empathize, but it's the reward for patience. That's the identity of that one. Mona, you're loving the new codex and the compass magnets. I've been picking up compass magnets using King's credits. And that's a good use for it as well. If you're out of magnets, sometimes you're in a bind in a labyrinth doing a map or something, and you need that magnet. Our cash prizes all given out from the Leprechaun mouse. That is still an option if you get the pot of gold, not the satchel, I think, right? I'm not wrong about that. I think it's the pot of gold. And there's still a chance. Now, over the years, we kind of dialed that down a little bit so that we could increase the encounter rate of leprechaun and have more leprechauns being caught. It became, abundant. The fun was having a rare and elusive mouse more than the chance of a cash prize. And I think we've even spoke about the identity long ago when we originally launched the game. It was meant to center around these sort of cash prizes, giveaways type stuff, and we thought that was the original direction of what would make the game fun and exciting. And it warmed our hearts to see that, and it was actually the gameplay and the art and the story and the characters that was the fun and engaging part. So that was nice to see, and then we lean more into that, and the game's better for it as well. It's a lot more rich and has a lot more in-depth world building going on because of it. The pages don't seem to drop with Regal Charms. You have 0. What's up with that? Well, they should, math. Like I said, it's a 10% chance, so it can be a little bit of streaky, but you can definitely get them with the charms. I mean, I'm not aware of anything being broken or some odd edge case. It's important to note as well, you can collect those pages after the giveaway comes to an end. So certainly the giveaway is the best time to be collecting Regal Charms. It's when they're most abundant. That said, they are in the marketplace. You can buy them from other players using gold. But you can collect those pages after the giveaway comes to an end as well. So, there's no huge rush to do it. Even if it's something that you want to get a little bit later, you can maybe stockpile a few Regal Charms during the giveaway, and you can work on that a little bit later. When you're maybe hunting in a spot that it makes more sense to be using Regal Charms for your particular hunting style. I know I'm hunting Twisted Carmine and I'm using Ultimate Regal Charms. And that feels like a pretty good fit. So that's working out okay for me anyway. Does the extra rich Cloud Cheesecake luck work on the prize mice? MX, I'm going to say yes. I mean, I can't say with 100% certainty without loading that up and checking, making 100% certain. But generally speaking, there's not too many exceptions. If it adds stats to your trap, then those stats are present during a bonus hunt when you encounter the mouse. That's like special effects, things that sort of happen either, as a result of the hunt or after the hunt. Those do not work. Like an ultimate charm would not work on a bonus hunt because it's a special effect. It doesn't just add stats directly to the trap. Fairy, it took you about 14 years to get a leprechaun exactly. It's a patience thing. Everyone's story is going to be a little bit different. There's going to be people out there that did it very quick, people out there that took them a very long time, and everything in between. And some of the fun of the game, as well as being able to share those experiences and see what's one person's experience versus another, especially for something as inconsequential. It's like this rare special moment, but it doesn't block you from doing anything else in the game, right? Will there be a Rift Ultimate Regal Charm? No plans to do Rift versions of the Regal Charms. We've been slowly trying to do little passes over the charm system whenever we can. It was certainly something that started to show its age a little bit as the years went by. There was definitely an era of the game where we were kind of just adding charms for fun, right? Like if anyone had an idea for a new fun charm, into the game it went. And I think as a side effect, as the years went by, that there was a lot of them. And it's hard to keep track of what do they all do, where do they all come from. So we've been trying to distill that back down into a smaller set of charms with more distinct themes so you can remember where they come from and generally where they sit in the overall hierarchy of what's better than what. And that tier system has worked very well. So, having ancients and spore charms, and you can combine those into the rainbow spore charms. You can upgrade your ancients, you can upgrade your spores, and then there's less language to remember that way as well. Everything has a bit of a stronger identity. You can remember, spore charms are tradable and they come from a few areas. Ancient charms are not tradable and they come from maps. Everything it's a little bit easier to keep that into the memory bank so that when you zoom out and you're thinking big picture, you can kind of remember where all these little pieces come from and where they all fit. Run says 15 years playing and still no leprechaun. Not even a miss, but a man can always dream. That's part of the fun as well, I think. Hopefully, as long as you're not taking things too seriously, that's part of the fun of the leprechaun. It is the ultimate elusive mouse, and there needs to be, there always needs to be that one extreme example of everything. It just kind of gives a nice scale to things, but also why it's important that capturing a leprechaun doesn't block or gate. Wouldn't want to drop a map piece to an area or something. For example, that doesn't sound like a great idea. Innocent 10% is quite high, I would say. There you go. I mean, at 10%, and you need 100 of them. That means it's about 1,000 hunts to make the Regal Codex. Did I just tempt fate by doing math in my head while also speaking out loud? I usually can't walk and chew bubblegum at the same time, but I'm pretty confident that 10% chance to collect 100 should average to about 1,000. That said, if you use ultimate Regal charms, you get 4 at a time. So that would speed things up. Fair, is the drop rate of keys very minimal? Why is that? It's off the top of my head, I don't remember what it is, but I wouldn't say it's very low. It seems pretty good, especially over the course of the giveaway. I wouldn't say it's minimal. There you go. Warden, all of my use cases are about hunting Twisted Carmine. It felt good to get back there. I wrapped up some stuff at the School of Sorcery. I picked up the journal theme, and I have enough sapphires to buy the base. I'll probably buy that a little bit later. I bought the ruby base, but then I didn't want to spend quite all my gold right now, so I'll pick up the sapphire base a little bit later. And it felt good to sort of go back into familiar territory, get back in the Twisted Garden, start hunting Twisted Carmine again. Dave, what's the next event after the King's giveaway? Well, one thing you can be certain of, some things are hard to predict. Some events are harder to know when they're going to happen than others. Some are a little unpredictable. But one is the Gloomy Greenwood, the Halloween event. You can pretty well count on that cropping up in October. But who knows what might happen between now and then. They said the Lucky Mouse is going to make a return next month as well. So that's something to look forward to. As well as the Draconic Depths, as I mentioned earlier, it's really taken shape. It's looking pretty good. I don't think I have. Do I have any Draconic stuff? You may have seen Jacob drawing that a bit. I think he did that on stream. Hopefully. No, I don't really have too many Draconic Depths stuff to show, actually. I thought I had the map image still kicking around. I think I removed it, and I have to set it back up. Joel's caught 4 leprechauns in 15 years. If you're interested, I wonder who's caught the most, actually. Off the top of my head, I haven't checked that. Edison says, never mind the leprechaun. The high roller is good enough to get keys. The high roller does drop. That it was one change we made this year. It was a little bit confusing. As mentioned before, regular mice had just a very small chance to drop keys. I think it was like 2%, something very, very low. But we'd get bug reports. It's like, whoa, I got a prize key, and it wasn't from a prize mouse. I think something's broken. You guys need to check that. But it was intended, right? It was just kind of regulate, especially the prize mice. I think we brought their power down a little bit a few years ago, if I recall. But especially newer players, if you don't have the best trap, it was kind of hard just to get some prize keys, right? To do the giveaway event, because you kept missing all the prize mice. Even the treasure mouse was a little bit of a challenge. But if I recall, I think we lowered the power on the treasure a little bit, so that if you're a newer player without the best trap, you can at least capture the treasure mouse. But then we removed those keys from the normal mice because that wasn't really needed. It was proving to be a bit confusing. And then we made the prize mice drop multiple keys to kind of keep the overall same number of keys per hunt, keys per day kind of balance, without having the regular mice drop the keys. What happened to all the orbs? Crafting items are obsolete now. Yeah, orbs were... I think they had good potential, but they didn't quite work out the way we had hoped. So, they kind of fell by the wayside a little bit, and we sort of phasing them out a little bit. I don't know what we want to do with orbs. Actually, the conversation just came up this week while we were working on updating old areas, or kind of, we've got a little bit of a project going on to refresh and reinvigorate and reimagine the game as a whole, including a lot of areas that were released many years ago, and kind of looking at it through the lens. Okay, if this was going to come out today, what would we do, right? And as with anything, if you've been doing something for 16 years, I sure hope you look back at something you did 12 years ago and goes, I think I would do it a little bit differently than I am now. That means you've learned something, you've honed your craft. We've got the benefit now of 16 years of player feedback and experience, and seeing, okay, what do players have fun doing? What's a little less fun to be doing? It's kind of a little bit of a project of ours to take all that knowledge and that feedback and kind of go back and apply it with some fresh coat of paint to some older areas. But it's a very long-term goal for us. But it's interesting, orbs came up in conversation just this week because we got to the point where we were adding some adjusting loot drops in an area, and the mice dropped orbs. And we kind of said, you know what, all right, let's just put a pin in that. Maybe don't add the orbs quite yet, and we'll circle back, and we'll do that as its own big project. So I don't know. I'm open to suggestion there. I gotta see where the future of orbs go. They kind of fell by the wayside. I think they didn't quite work out the way you had hoped, and it's a difficult economy to manage as well. Are there any players who have a crown for the leprechaun? I don't know off the top of my head. I know for a long time I wish we had scoreboards for each individual mouse. It's a bit of a technical challenge. One day we'll get there. Hopefully we make it. The game is still kicking around by the time we have sort of the technological upgrades in place to make that a reality. I think it would be fun just to see. Where do I stand in the world in terms of like dwarf mice? You just see who's caught the most dwarf mice. Dallas knows the exact number of days to catch their first leprechaun, 4,385. That seems like it left an impression. Poor polluted charm sitting in a corner. Yeah, Swift, that was one kind of classification of charm that we struggled a little bit with. We kind of focused in on, it's an ongoing project as well, but you remember we did a little bit of a charm overhaul. Was that last year? Maybe the year before last? Time is flying. A lot of the stats of charms got adjusted, but we really focused in on sort of core charms like luck, power, lucky power, that type of charm that often you get in the shop, at least the basic versions of them. Then ancients from maps. Spore charms come from a few areas in the marketplace. That's kind of like their main source. We adjusted a lot of those stats. We added ways to upgrade those charms and then combine them. Your ancients go into rainbows, your spores go to ultimate spores, you can combine those into the rainbow spore, and then we want to kind of keep upgrading that path to eventually have, like an ultimate rainbow spore charm, etc. And then so polluted came up during that conversation, and we couldn't quite find a good spot. I think it was an idea that didn't quite work out, where we wanted the polluted base and polluted charms to be something very important, where they'd have a nice set effect, but ultimately that removes a little bit of choice and agency, and it felt less fun over time. It felt like, well, I always have to be using this one type of charm to have success, versus, it's always nice when there's a choice. So it's like, and during different moments, I like to use different charms, or, different players choose different charms for different reasons. So there's not any one right answer. There's the right answer for you at that one time. So anyway, polluted charms didn't quite work out how we had hoped. So they might kind of continue to be a little bit of a legacy charm, fall by the wayside. But we'll see. Who knows? Maybe a great idea will come up and find just the right way to fit them in. Any plans to change the content of the King's Vault for the next year's King's giveaway? Open to feedback there as well. Every year we might tweak and tune things just a little bit. Certainly the Vault was a nice way to add choice and agency. If you get to pick different things. But it seems like it has a nice mix of items without anything being too specific to one area. So that kind of is a nice fit for the giveaway, as well as King's credits. They're a bit of a wild card, right? When you go to the King's Arms and the King's Cart, you can buy all sorts of things with credits. So in that way, the giveaway, that's how it kind of works for any area in the game, because it's arguably one of the best times to be earning King's credits. Really, King's credits come from the giveaway, and maps are kind of their primary source. You do Relic Hunter maps, Lightning maps, Slayer maps, or otherwise during the giveaway. Otherwise, you just get a trickle of them here and there from your daily reward chest, completed adventures, etc. But it's not too often you have an opportunity to stockpile them. But the giveaway and maps are a good source of them for sure. Okay, a scoreboard from individual mouse in the future. I want to. Believe me, that is something I want to make a reality, but I don't know when we'll have sort of the time and resources to pull it off. But I agree, it's an excellent idea. We could see who has the most leprechauns if those individual mouse scoreboards. Yeah, exactly, right? So I think that's part of the fun. Anywhere where you can see other players, I think just makes the game more fun, and scoreboards are a natural fit for that. All right, where it's just either it's a little bit of healthy competition or even just a little bit of curiosity as well, right? So, where do I land in the world for this particular mouse? I feel like I've caught quite a few. Is the Chrome Dregs in Slayer Cannon the only trap that needs 2 Chrome kits? You'll just have to wait and see, Swift. We'll see. I don't know either. It doesn't exist yet. But you may have noticed Jacob, I believe, was working on that on stream, if I recall correctly. So maybe he wasn't, and then that's a bit of an oops on my behalf. Warden has 18k simple orbs. Yeah, see, they're not quite the resource that needs to be managed as perhaps they were intended to upon their inception. But we'll see. We'll see what the future has for orbs. We'll hopefully have a creative idea. Otherwise, we might just have to kind of let them fall into the shadows, a way to cash them out and kind of, forget they ever existed maybe. It might be something to tidy up, but I don't know yet. We'll see. The Shadow Stalker scoreboard, yeah. People still playing after 10 years are the kind of people who want to know exactly where they stand on how many dwarf mice they have caught. The dwarf mouse is one of those mice that if you've been playing for a long time, it was in a lot of different areas. So the dwarf mouse catches would just add up because it just seems like the dwarf was everywhere. We've kind of changed where some of the mice are a little bit over the years. And as I mentioned, we've been looking at the early game areas, giving them a fresh coat of paint. We've been working on trying to change the way cheese works a little bit to give it a little bit more identity. And with some of that means moving some mice around or changing what bait preferences a few of the mice have. And that's certainly happened over the years. But the dwarf seems to add up. I'm trying to navigate and talk at the same time. It's not going too well. But here, I'm checking how many dwarf mice I have. I often like to just go to the King's Crown tab because it's a nice way to see all your mice sorted by which ones you've caught the most and which ones you've caught the least. The fungal spore is my most caught mouse. I would not have guessed that. And 5,793 fungal spore mice. Where's the dwarf? 2,486 dwarf. And I bet you if you've been playing for a long time, you probably have more dwarf mouse catches than you would think you have. YX, if we were allowed to smash Regal charms, what we get? Oh, that'd be like destroying the king's property. I don't think you can smash those, YX. Edison, you're wondering, will the music used in the app be applied to the website as well? Slowly but surely working on it. And like anything, any sound effects, you would need a toggle switch. Any music and sound effects always needs a mute option. Definitely imagine you're playing in your office or something. You don't want to hear just a blasting of the hunter's horn there out of the speakers. But yeah, something we'd like to do. There's no immediate plans to do it, but there's some long-term plans to kind of reimagine things a little bit and add some more capabilities to the website version of the game. Tarako, you like the mix for the vault as is? I'm pretty happy with it personally, but always open to suggestions, feedback. Like with any event, any reoccurring event, it's a great opportunity. Kind of keep our ear to the ground, see what players are saying, collect feedback, and then we log that for the next time it runs. We just kind of make a task and we schedule it for a few months ahead of the next time we want to run that event. So, for example, Halloween's coming up. There's already a task with all the feedback from 2023 Halloween event, and that's probably going to come up pretty soon here. What is it? June, July? Probably in August. I bet you that'll surface back up, and we'll start to look at the Halloween feedback so we can act on it for the 2024 Halloween. Edison, you like getting King's credits from your daily logins. You get a slow and steady trickle, but the giveaway, you get a lot of credits in a short amount of time. Tarako has almost 2,000 dwarf mice catches, 1.8 thousand. Matt, you didn't know you fellas went early. You're used to 11 a.m. I did just schedule it yesterday. I wasn't quite sure, actually. I thought maybe I'd cancel Feedback Friday. We have a company get-together, so I need to do Feedback Friday a little bit early to accommodate some travel time. We're going to see everybody face-to-face. It'll be fun. But then I decided, I'll do it a bit early. So then I scheduled it yesterday it's 9 a.m. in my neck of the woods. Dave, any plan to have a charm with higher luck than the ultimate party charm? I'm sure eventually, right? Just everything kind of increases over time. Typically, your equipment will get stronger over time, and then the mice will start to get stronger over time as well. So you kind of, it's always this cat and mouse game. I guess we're the cats in that metaphor there. Okay, sometimes the player's a little stronger than the mice, and it's that's how the pacing works, if you will. I mean, often the term power creep comes up, but I don't think power creep really exists unless the player is getting stronger than the environment at a consistent rate. A more healthy way is when it almost kind of fluctuates. It looks like a DNA strand, if you will, going up and to the right. Sometimes the environment's still stronger than the player, and sometimes the player's a little stronger than the environment. It kind of does this. How many different hand motions can I make before I get dizzy? Probably getting there pretty quick. Martin, your most caught mouse is the Spice Seer with almost 3,000. That's quite a few. Eric has over 4,000 dwarf mice. See, that's a lot. Don, you don't think I've aged in 10 years? I assure you I have. I sure feel like I have, yeah. I feel like you notice it in physical activity and what you can eat without regretting it. I feel like those are the two things that start to kick in the soonest. That's how you notice age taking its toll a little bit, It's like, why do I have this ache and pain that I never used to have? And, why when I eat this, I don't feel well anymore after, You mean I can't just eat a whole bunch of, nachos, cheese, and heavy food right before bed and then just go sleep like a baby, wake up no problem the next day? Yeah. Anyway. It's because you're always hunting twisted carbines, Dave. That makes sense. Yeah. That adds up, Swift. You're right. Pump Raider is Matt's highest. Really? Queso River. That's a lot of hunting at the Queso River. Oh, run, thank you, Dave, and the team for the past 15 years. Whenever you meet your cousins and friends, you'd reminisce about the days slogging for the tourney bases, getting devoured in the jungle of dread. Well, I'm glad you've been having fun for so long. K9's up to 2,205 dwarf mice after 6 years. It's usually, I think it's a mouse that's often, it was my most caught mouse for a while, but as the years have gone by, it's starting to slip down in the ranks a little bit, as you usually don't go back to hunt dwarf too often. Zapke has 2,500 Master of the Dojo. That was another popular mouse for quite some time. I think I was hunting them out. I have 4,804 Master of the Dojo and more Onyx Gorgonzola than I know what to do with. I think I'm waiting until we eventually can reliably min luck the Dojo Sensei, and then I think I'm just going to chill. I'm just going to chill in the Pinnacle Chamber. I don't know. Sometimes I like to set and forget. I like to get somewhere where I'm just going to, set a target and all right, so I should be there in about 3 months. I'll just keep clicking a button for 3 months. K9's most captured mouse is the Golem with over 4,000. Lady Nutsy has over 1,500 dwarfs. YX, will you consider Regal Codex giving extra trap power if Regal charms are equipped? I mean, probably not. We'll see. But right now, it's a nice little bonus, right? Anytime you use Regal charms, every once in a while, you get to basically save your charm and get a free charm, right? When you think about it, it's just a nice little passive bonus. I don't think it needs to be anything too impactful. And then it doesn't conflate things too much. Even the Chrome Codex boosting the stats of Chrome charms, I feel like that's a little confusing. I don't really, it seemed like a good idea at the time, and I'm not too happy with it now. It seems a little bit confusing how the charm has different stats, whether you own another item. So I think we want to kind of lean away from that, and really, if you want better stats, use a better charm. That seems a lot more clear, easy to understand, a little less complicated. There's always this gray area between something complex, which is good, and something complicated, which is bad. It's good if something's complex. It's hard to figure, it's hard to figure out, but you put your mind to it and you do it, versus complicated. It's hard to figure out and you don't even know where to start on that journey. Jelly, will there be new cheese available in the King's Calibrator? None planned in the immediate future, but we do review it at regular intervals, but no plans to add any in the immediate future. There hasn't really been too many good candidates. K9, you want to see 2 more extremely rare mice added to the game like the Leprechaun and Monster? Oh, probably not. I think, there's an expression, if everything's special, nothing is. So you gotta, you just gotta leave those as 2 very, very special mice. I think if you try to replicate that and keep adding more that are like it, it dilutes it. And eventually they don't feel as special anymore. So I think it's good. Sometimes you gotta know when to put the brush down, right? One more stroke will ruin the painting. Well, are we at a half hour? We sure are. Okay, we should transition here. I have trivia today. All right, I remembered to hide the answer. All right, you might need your sunglasses on, okay? We need a safety warning. Do not look directly into the King's Vault. You may see spots for a little bit here. Like that solar eclipse recently. If you have those solar eclipse glasses to look into the sun, you might want to hold on to those for looking into the King's Vault. But this week's trivia is how many charms have 18 or more luck? Or 18 or higher luck? I don't know what's grammatically correct, but I think everyone can understand what I'm trying to ask here. Michelle reminded me, yep, I have to leave in less than an hour. Yeah, I'm pretty good to go though, I think. I'm just going to wrap up a few things. There's like a little bit of work I wanted to cross off before I hit the road, but I'm in pretty good shape. Jeremy's over 1,300 dwarf. Most caught is the kite flyer. Oh no, it's the kite flyer. I'm trying to remember if I know the answer. I think Swift got the answer right and was the first person to answer and did get the answer correct. Matt was asking, are there any additional King's Card items? Not much for the higher areas at the cart. Yeah, they slowly get added over time. Typically, high-level areas don't have too much in the cart, and as the areas age a little bit, then they start to have their items pop up in the cart. The King seems to find a supply of those items. That said, we did just recently add a few. We'll get back to trivia in 1 second here, but just for you, Matt, we updated the news post, so this got added to the news post the day after here. It's a bit of an oversight to summarize what new things got added to the cart, but there you can see papyrus seeds and the ingenuity grubs have been added. That's for relatively high level area. Also added unstable charms. I felt like a good thematic fit. Typically, you might have enough unstable charms already, but it's kind of a fun little thing as well. That's pretty well the only place to get them outside of finding them as bonus loot and the compass magnet. So trivia, though, it was Swift. Swift got the answer correct. It is indeed 14, I think. Let's see here. Did I remember? Yes, I remember the answer was indeed 14. So if my count was correct, I counted through the charms there. There are 14 charms that have 18 or higher luck, 18 or more luck. I don't really know what the right word in that sentence is. I'll put the reward link in the chat for your clicking convenience. The ultimate Regal charm is one of those charms. It has 18 luck, which makes it a pretty good charm, especially it has a lot of power. You can almost think of the ultimate Regal charm. I kind of see it as it's a ultimate lucky power charm that has even more power to it. It's basically it leans a little bit toward the power. Sacrifice a little bit of luck to increase your power. Maybe good for some of those big game mice where power is going to help you a little bit more than luck. Hopefully this link works. I think I clicked it yesterday. Yes, there we go. And there's some extreme Regal charms. You can use those to upgrade them into ultimate Regal charms at the cart, should you be so inclined, or maybe you can use them to help you track down the Regal Codex. You can see these are all the charms here. 14 seems like a lot, but a lot of them are thematic ones, like the Festive Ultimate Luck charm is basically, and or the Snowball and the Spooky charm are they're kind of copies of one another. They just come from different events. So even going back when we were classifying those charms, one was sort of event charms, like the Party, the Snowball, and the Spooky. We kind of all put those in the same category as if you upgrade them, they're pretty good charms, but their supply is a little bit limited, right? You can only get them during certain times of year. And that kind of, there was Ancients and Spores, were the other sort of important identity ones. And Regals, we kind of found a little bit of a spot for as well to give them their own spin. Swift, it was a guess. I thought you looked it up, Swift. All right, Swift guessed 14 and was correct. Well, congratulations. That was a good guess. Warden, does it include the charms Franco sells in a shop? See, Franco's shop would have like negative luck charms or something. You know, it would be something like guarantees an attraction with a leprechaun, but has negative 1,000 luck and negative 1,000 power. That would be a Franco shop item, right? You can encounter the leprechaun as much as you want, but you'll never be able to catch it because you don't have any luck or power. That would be, seems to be something Franco shop would sell, you know. Makes you scratch your head. Franco's shop of ironic hunting equipment. An ultimate charm has infinite luck, eh? Interestingly enough, how the ultimate charm works actually is it drops the mouse power to 0. So when you encounter the mouse, kind of behind the scenes what happens is it sets the mouse power to 0, and you can't miss a mouse when it has 0 power. Kind of, it almost works like, you can think of it like die rolls. If when you encounter a mouse, the mouse rolls a die and you roll a die, and whoever rolls higher wins. And if you tie, the player still wins. We give the tie to the player. So you can roll a 0 when you go to capture a mouse, but if you roll the 0 and the mouse also rolls a 0, well, the tie goes to the player. So that's kind of how that works, is the ultimate charm. Basically, it makes the mouse incapable of defending itself. Matt's your in between if you don't want to use a rainbow spore, but you need a little bit more than an ultimate lucky power charm. Regals have their place. They have a nice little niche. Like I said, hunting Twisted Carmine. Ultimate Regals are a pretty good fit. You know, I feel like I have enough of them. I don't mind using them. Ultimate Snowball Charms, too, seem to have a lot of those. I wonder if maybe during the Great Winter Hunt, there's maybe a few too many Snowball Charms. That's part of the fun, but it's a bit of an avalanche of Snowball Charms. That might need to dial back just a little bit to make sure there's still a resource that you want to manage, right? If you have too much of something, sometimes it takes away the fun of having to choose when to use it. But if you don't have enough of something, then, you know, it's the phrase "too good can't use" kicks in, right? If you only have one of something, you'll just save it and you'll never use it. So you need enough of something that you'll use it, but not so much that you don't have to manage it anymore. It's a tricky balance sometimes. If the game has a king, is there a queen? That is kind of a storyline we did want to explore at some point. There's a few ideas, but nothing, you know, I'll say out loud to make it like canonical. But there's a few ideas kicking around of how we wanted to approach that storyline. It would be fun, but we'll see. We might, who knows? I mean, sometimes you just need for the right time, place, and the right idea at the right time in the right place is the one that gets put into the game. So we got a few more minutes here, I think, before I better wrap things up. Do a little bit of work, and then I got to hit the road. Like I said, we have a company get together today. I got a little bit of travel time ahead of me to go and see everybody in person. Alan, can we exchange King's credits for a basic Regal charm? That was one thing we didn't do, unless I'm mistaken. Sometimes I'm always worried whether my brain is short-circuiting while I'm trying to speak and recall information at the same time. But I'm pretty sure you can't do that, right? Correct. Okay. Just making sure. So that really Regal charms only ever enter the game during the giveaway. That's it. That's like their only source of them. But at any time you can upgrade them, which actually consumes the Regal charms faster than normal. So really it's kind of like this ebb and flow, right? The giveaway puts them in, and then when the giveaway is inactive, they drain. So that's very intentional. That's why you can't get them from the King's Arms with credits. That said, you can get them on the marketplace, right? So you can buy them with gold. So if you go to the marketplace and you search Regal Charm, look at that, you can buy Regal Charms from other players who maybe they got them during the giveaway and they don't plan on using them. They can sell them to the players who are planning on using them. Or, you know, somebody is looking, they want more ultimate Regal Charms, but they're out of the lower tier ones. They can buy up the Regal Charms and they can choose based on how many King's credits they have. You know, maybe you want to buy the extremes and just do one upgrade step. If you have a lot of King's credits, maybe you would want to buy Regal Charms and do all the upgrade steps. So there's kind of many different choices to make, and it comes down to what your resources and your goals are. And there's kind of, hopefully it's one of those moments where there's no one right answer. It's the right answer for you, and the right answer for you will change depending on your circumstance. So what did we go over today? We did the giveaway mailbag, in case you're just joining us here. Mentioned that the news post, Franco updated the news post to outline the 6 new items that were added to King's Cart. These were some questions Michelle found from players about Prize Mice, the giveaway, as well as the Lucky Mouse as a bonus there. Does the printing press base work against Prize Mice, the bonus that it gets from prolific printing paper? Yes, it does. Basically an easy way to explain it, when you look at the trap selector, all those stats that you see down there, that's how much power and luck you have on during a bonus hunt. The only exception is a Froma Rift droid. The droid is not part of your trap, so it doesn't give you a bonus, or it doesn't give you an effect during a bonus hunt. Is the encounter rate of Prize Mice any different from location to location? Nope. That's definitely very intentional. Something it's a nice thing about the giveaway, right? It doesn't really get in the way. If you want, you just keep doing what you're doing and the prize might show up. That said, definitely sometimes people move around a little bit to be able to use a little bit more of a powerful trap than they would normally be using. And, that can be fun as well. And the drop rate of the Regal Codex pages, there's some curiosity there. So it's 10%, all tiers of charms, but the higher tier charms do drop a higher quantity of the pages. And finally, the Lucky Mouse will be coming back next month as well, if all goes according to plan. So something to look forward to. Matt, today is your 15th Mouse-iversary. Well, happy Mouse-iversary. Happy 15 years of hunting. PJ came back. I just came back. You weren't playing too much last year. Hey, wondering when did Ron's visit last year? I don't remember off the top of my head. It was in the summer, though. It seems to be, she tends to tour for some reason. I don't know. Maybe she doesn't like the cold weather. Maybe she's alternates. She's in the other hemisphere, right? When it's summer there, and then summer kicks up in Nani, and she comes to this hemisphere. I don't know. Maybe those New Year maps are a little too celebratory. What makes you say that, Organic? Shell can be queen, eh? Peter, thanks for all you guys do, Dave. Well, thank you, Peter. That's nice of you to say. Hopefully you're having fun. And, glad to see the whole team, works hard on hopefully creating fun things. Dallas, I don't know how the Lucky Mouse is going to get here. I don't know. All right, hunters. Well, I suppose I should wrap things up. Thank you for joining me on a little bit of an earlier edition of Feedback Friday than normal. Like I said, I gotta hit the road in about 45 minutes. I better get going. I tend to lose track of time pretty easily, and go look forward to having a little company get together. Thanks for the well wishes, Michelle. I hope you have a fun day as well. You'll be with us in spirit. Hollow Riddler went and looked it up. Ronza last year was from July 4 to 25. Thank you, Hollow Riddler. You've seen when Ronza last visited us. Dallas, happy hunting to you as well. YX, thank you for the well wishes. Hope you have a great weekend. Matt, hope you have a great day as well as Apke. Dave, will next Friday be Jacob or myself, eh? There's a long weekend coming up, isn't there? When's Canada Day? I don't have a calendar in front of me. So it falls on a Monday. Okay, so I bet you some people are probably going to take a Friday off. I don't know if Jacob is one of those people. Might take off the 28th. I don't know, YX. We'll see. We usually decide first thing Monday morning. We have a quick team meeting, about 20 to 40 minutes, depending on how much is going on. We'll kind of sync up, see if anybody needs help with anything for the week, or if anyone has too much work or not enough work to do, that sort of thing. Just make sure everything's delegated nicely, and schedule meetings and collaboration. And that's one of the things we decide right at the end of that meeting. Who's doing Feedback Friday this week? And Jacob and I stare at each other a little bit and try to remember who did it last Friday. So we'll probably decide then. We'll see. We'll keep you up to date. Keep your eye on the news ticker at the top of the game, at least in the browser version of the game. Michelle tries to spread the word out as well a little bit and try to share on the Discord and what have you as well. So usually the news disseminates throughout the community. But keep your ear to the ground, and we'll see what's going on next week. Michelle says, Dave, go. Sounds good to me, Michelle. Thank you. Have a fantastic weekend, hunters. Thanks for joining me. We'll probably see you next week unless both Jacob and I are off. Have a fantastic weekend. Happy hunting.
1, 2. You're a trap. don't seem to mind it. You attract me. I'm a mouse, you're a cat. I don't seem to mind it. Soft and furry. Oh, and just when I think I'm safe, snap. Turns out I'm never safe, snap. Just when you think you're safe, snap. I come back. You don't seem to mind it, but I'm a fool. Broke my back. You don't seem to mind it, 'cause you're so cool. And just when I think I'm safe, snap. Turns out I'm never safe, snap. Ooh. And just when you think you're safe, snap. Turns out